afternoon. So apparently I'm the last speaker today, so I get to first of all thank all of our sponsors. You've heard some of them speak today, you've seen others or all of them upstairs with demonstrations. Please make the time to speak to them, take their cards. They're really doing some amazing stuff in Israel. So I'm talking to you about cannabis innovation, a global healthcare opportunity. Now I come from, I'm a marketing man, I come from the high-tech world of Israel, startup nation, all those kind of buzzwords, where innovation is quite obvious. Innovation in startup nation, it basically means you're disrupting something significant. It's usually technology-based, it's usually something new, algorithmic, changing the world. When we talk about cannabis innovation, when I talk about cannabis innovation, usually I get that kind of glary, glossy-eyed look as to what innovation can there be in a plant. You plant it, you grow it, you roll it, you smoke it, you eat something and go to sleep. But there's a lot more to this. So the first thing I did was when I joined the business a few months ago, and I want to just step back for a second. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a patient. I'm totally agnostic towards the plant. I have a personal relationship for 25 years with the plant, so I appreciate the benefits. And what I've learned in the past 6 months working with Saul and Jason and the other iCAN team members is really the miraculous, the incredible, the too good to be true someone mentioned today, therapeutic benefits. And this is what's really so exciting about being an entrepreneur and a marketer in this industry. There's so much to be done. Most of it starts with money. I've heard lots of the doctors and people today talking about lack of research. We just don't know. Money has to come in for research, money has to come in for innovation, for marketing, for delivery. And we're Israel. We do these things well. So when I look at innovation for cannabis, I came up with, I'm going to go back. I came up with this phrase. It's a bit of a mix mash. Innovation begins with a bold, new idea. Put aside technology, put aside changing the world, just a bold, new idea. Add to that some creativity, which we do well, ingenuity, which we do incredibly in Israel, and obviously some good old-fashioned chutzpah. And this is really the key to where Israel stands in the cannabis world. Hands up, who knows this guy? The hands up and the cheers. Okay, so you really know this guy. This is a dear old Professor Rafa Mishulam. We love this guy because it began in 1964. When, if you've not seen this movie, by the way, The Scientist, great friends of ours at iCAN, Zach Klein, created this documentary. You really must check it out. If you go to our website, israel-cannabis.com, scroll to the bottom, you'll see a trailer. This guy's chutzpah, I'm not going to go into his story now and ruin the movie for you, but this guy's chutzpah is how his story is how he chose to research the plant, how he acquired the raw materials, how he shared those raw materials with his American counterparts. Chutzpah, chutzpah, chutzpah. And that was back in 1964. Since then, we've been researching, we're the only country to be researching at a national level cannabis for over 50 years. Right now we have over 600 patents, mostly by Professor Mishulam and his team. 8 licensed growers, you met 2 of them today, and depending on whose numbers you choose, we have approximately 22,000 cannabis licensed patients. Compare that to what's going on in America, it's a very different story. 23 states, at least 23 states, have a medical cannabis program, independently created, supervised, managed, and executed. The administration at federal level, there's no standardization, unlike in Israel. Well over 1 million medical cannabis patients, adding 10,000 per day. Yes, we know California is contributing to a lot of that. And again, the numbers, we're going to see in a few months how true this is. Last year, a $4 billion industry. This year projected $6 billion. The number for 2020 is anywhere between 20 billion to 100 billion. We really don't know. It really comes down to what we can innovate, what we can take to market. And we hope the lobbying groups and the intelligent politicians will speed up the legalization process. Now, this is what we do well in Israel. This is where I come from. This is about building ecosystems, building innovation ecosystems to make sure we get the best out of the intelligent minds, and the smart guys we have in this country. To build an ecosystem, you need these components. You need to build relationships between people, skills, creativity, technology. You need to think about all of this. Yesterday we had an incredible meeting in Bet Shemesh. We had a botanist, we had a chemist, we had a biologist, we had a pharmacist, we had Dr. Malka, we had patients, we had the full spectrum of stakeholders in the cannabis industry. And we talked cannabis. We covered all of these things. This is what Israel does well. And to prove that, these are the kind of ecosystems that we have built here. FinTech through Citibank. They created the FinTech ecosystem. Agritech, MedTech, Foodtech, High-Tech. This is Israel, and every single one of these applies to cannabis.
And all against eco.
Sorry?
All against eco.
All against eco. So I don't understand the question, but we will definitely catch me after and we'll have a chat. So what we're doing at iCAN is working to build a cannabis ecosystem, which is why we have our big innovation summit in March, which I hope you're all going to come to. We are about building the ecosystem to help entrepreneurs, to help innovators, to help scientists, professors, investors to understand where the opportunities are. We know research has to be done. Once research is done, we know that products have to be produced and packaged and labeled and marketed and distributed, delivery systems. And I will talk a little bit more about Canatech. While we're not scrolling, please QR code and sign up for Canatech in March. Here we go. So cannabis needs innovation. And the ecosystems I mentioned before, they all apply. Almost every company working in an innovative space for cannabis should or will pivot from another business. We know a number of companies in Israel who are active in the cannabis space that began, there's a company working in the agritech space that began splicing tomatoes. There's another company that was grafting roots that discovered that their techniques, as another one with pesticide, their techniques for these other plants work better on cannabis. They pivoted. There's lighting companies, irrigation companies, there's big data companies, analysis. So many things happening for other verticals which apply to cannabis. Innovation is just about thinking a little bit differently to see where the opportunities are. When you have a product like cannabis that gram for gram is worth more than gold, it's not going to take long for the investors to realize they need to start investing. And they need to start investing in Israel. We know this. We do this well. We need delivery systems. Standardization is key. We know this on the medical side. Data analysis is probably in the shorter term even more important. Collating anecdotal data from patients so that self-medicating patients can do a better job. And of course, edibles, whether we're talking food supplements or gourmet foods. In America, there's a big market of edibles and beautiful cakes and cookies. The reality is that food supplements, like in Israel here, we put vitamin D into milk. It's not such a big stretch of the imagination to see that in 5-10 years, we could be adding CBDs, CBGs, CBNs into milk. Find me after, we'll talk more. I have many more predictions. I'm a marketer, I have to. Okay, look, we're a nation of pioneers, we know this. 70 years ago, there wasn't a country. We're now leading the world in so many fields. We know how to do it. This relates back to Rafi Meshulam. Over 50 years ago, nobody was looking at the plant. He had an idea. He knows, everybody knew that cannabis gets you high. He asked a simple question, why? What is it that gets you high? Discovered THC. But that wasn't enough for him because, we know what we're like. We're stereotypical Jews, Israelis. We answer a question with a question. So once he knew it was THC, the next question was, well, how does that work? And it's then his team that discovered the endocannabinoid system, the CB1 receptors, CB2, CBDs, and everything else that's come out. A lot of that is attributed to just smart thinking, innovative thinking, and a hell of a lot of chutzpah.
Other groups will find it. Not everything is Shulam.
I really can't hear you, I'm sorry. But I will come back to you. My time is almost up. Rafi Meshulam, that's where it began. That's well, we're actually way beyond this. THC over there, we're discovering so many more cannabinoids and discovering what they can do, how they work together as entourage effects or not. So really, cannabis is an innovation of ideas. We need to think not about reinventing the plant is the plant. To me personally, as a non-patient, non-scientist, non-doctor, non-anything, cannabis is a plant. To me, it's not medication. There's no medical aspect to me. The innovation is taking a plant, understanding the components, working out how to streamline, how to extract for the best possible use to turn it into a medication. But the plant is the plant. Think innovative. And Israel can become a cannabis innovation nation. If you've not heard that phrase, then you will hear it a lot more. Read my blogs, you'll see it a lot more. I've been Clifton Flack. Thank you very much.